This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, what up? Happy Wednesday. The Jason Walker Show, live in the man cave and hanging out, getting ready to go to Bozeman for the State A Boys and Girls Championships. State tournament action this week actually gets underway today. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, the exclusive first interview with new Providence men's basketball coach J.C. Isakson. That was the breaking news we were waiting for the last couple of days. Had to wait for the go-ahead to get it out. But congratulations to a longtime assistant in the college ranks, including 5 with the Argos. J.C. Isakson will join us on the way. Also going to break down and look at the NAI tournament, Big Sky tournament. It is hoops season galore, and it is all upon us. So let's start on a show that you can watch on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, any of the downloadable places. Just go to jasonwalkershow.com. It's the easiest place to go to watch and listen. Walk Up, brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes. They are the premier log home company in the industry. 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. You've got milled, handcrafted, and timber frame. They are all different. They are all beautiful, and they are all with Montana Custom Log Homes. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started. Let's see here. High school tournaments getting underway. Let's start in the NAIA, though, because the first round last night got started all over the country, including in Butte and in Helena, in Lewiston, Idaho, and Park City, Kansas. We'll start in Helena, where 11th-ranked Carroll won its 14th straight game for Rochelle Sayers, 75-66, knocking off Rochester, Michigan in the first round. It was a back-and-forth first round. I think it was tied at the half, and then Carroll jumped out to a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, and now we'll play Jamestown out of North Dakota. Jamestown, the Jimmies, beat IU South Bend as well on Tuesday in the Liston quadrant. So Carroll, the 2 seed, and Jamestown, the 7 seed, tonight, 7 o'clock. And if a Carroll, whoever wins, and hopefully it's the Saints, they'll head off to Sioux City, Iowa in the round of 16. Kendall Keller had 18. Maddie Garrett's had a double-double. Jamie Pickens with a double-double. It was pretty impressive last night for the Saints women. Pickens and Garrett's combined for 21 rebounds. Rochester as a team had 27. So, and Pickens just being Pickens, 23 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, probably had some blocks in there as well. So good luck to the Carroll women tonight. And it's weird when people hear me say that because I work with the University of Providence as their sports information director, but a lot of these Carroll girls, I still have the utmost respect for Rochelle Sayers, and a lot of these Carroll girls I covered either in high school and or college. So out in Lewiston, Idaho, Rocky Mountain College defeated Menlo 68-62. Menlo out of California, the Oaks. And Rocky will have a chance to go to the final site for the second straight season. They've got to get a win tonight. Chloe Thatcher, 30 points. And she had 4 threes. And I gave her a hard time when she came to Great Falls with the Rocky Providence matchup earlier in the season. So, Chloe, it feels like you're in your 27th year at Rocky. Redshirt years, COVID years, all add up, but she's awesome. Her family's great too. 20 points scored in the final minute of that game. Holy offense. Rocky hit 9 of 12 in the last minute at the free throw line. That's absolutely crazy. So the 11-seeded Bears and Wes Keller will play tonight against the host, the 3-seed LC State. Those two very familiar with each other. LC State used to be in the Frontier. That'll be at 6:30 tonight. That winner goes to Sioux City, Iowa as well. Montana Western got a big win for Lindsay Woolley, the 2019 national champs. Jumped out to a 21-7 lead and cruised over Philander Smith out of Arkansas down in Park City, Kansas, 79-48. 11 threes for the 3-seeded Bulldogs. Shaney Mack, Jordan Sweeney had 19 apiece. Brindley Fitzgerald had 14. Western plays number 11 Sterling, Kansas, which pulled an upset of 6-seed Mid-America Christian out of Oklahoma. So Western and Sterling tonight in Park City, Kansas, with a chance to go to the round of 16. And it's not called, in the NAI, you cannot say Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. Those are trademarked by the NCAA. So it's the round of 16, the Final 8, and the Fab 4. So there you go. Montana Tech on the men's side hosting a pod and got a big win, 83-69. Second national tournament win in history for Montana Tech. It was packed. And Tech now 17-0 at home this year. Caleb Belich, the Frontier Conference Player of the Year, left the game in the first minute and did not return. So hopefully he can be back tonight. Asa Williams, Camden Lawrence, 15. Hayden Decons, 13. 9 boards as well. Tech now will play Thomas More out of Kentucky tonight. Trip to Kansas City on the line for the final 16. Thomas More defeated Philip Malatar in Eastern Oregon 66-44. Coach Hyatt said, quote, "We are 40 minutes from Kansas City, so if that doesn't motivate you, then I don't know what will," end quote. Very cool for the Frontier Conference. Very, very cool. All right, we've got basketball, the state variety, starting tonight. And then tomorrow, and then Saturday, or Friday and Saturday. Championship Saturday night. Let's look at the brackets, shall we? Let's see here. As soon as I can figure out how to navigate a computer screen, we'll be good to go. By the way, you can tweet us anytime at JWalker Sports on the Twitter. And that would be for whatever you wanted to weigh in on. Why am I not finding brackets? Brackets are always everywhere at this time of the year. Oh, all right. We'll figure it out. Let's start in Class A, because I'll be down there for NFHS Network. That starts Thursday at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse in Bozeman. Class A boys, here we go. It'll be Glendive and Dillon, Butte Central, Columbia Falls, Frenchtown, Billings Central, Lewistown, Hamilton first-round matchups. Dillon could potentially ruin a rematch of last year's championship. Hamilton, last year it was Lewistown and Butte Central. Dougie Peoples hitting the 3 at the buzzer to win it. Fantastic game. Class A girls get started in Bozeman on Thursday with Hardin and Dillon, Frenchtown and Laurel. Hamilton plays Billings Central, and Havre takes on Browning. That Havre-Browning first-round game might be my favorite matchup of the first round for the girls. Man. Class B boys, they're being played in Great Falls starting tomorrow. Missoula Loyola takes on Lodgegrass, followed by Columbus and Wolf Point in the morning. Then Malta, Lame Deer, Red Lodge, Big Fork. On the girls' side, also in Great Falls, also starting tomorrow, Big Fork Baker, Huntley Project faces Wolf Point, Malta against Columbus, and Big Timber against Loyola of Missoula. Class C boys, they get started tomorrow down in Metro Park. Manhattan Christian against Broadview Lavina. Broadview Lavina, the play-in challenge game winner Monday night. Belt then takes on Fairview, Broadus, Lone Peak, and then Lustre Christian against Big Sandy. I think Lustre Christian is unbeaten. Girls State Class C starts this afternoon with 4 games. 3 o'clock, Twin Bridges Ekalaka, followed by Roy Winifred Plentywood, Roberts Manhattan Christian, Saco Whitewater Hinsdale against Chinook. I don't know any of these teams. I'd have to say the Christian girls are pretty good. I'd have to say the Saco Whitewater Hinsdale, well, you're good if you're last team standing at state tournament. But I did see Roy Winifred practice 2 weeks ago, and they've got some height. They got a girl that's like 6'7" and is athletic, and she can hoop. It's fantastic to watch. I might be going for the Roy Winifred team this weekend. Winifred, of course, home of Amy Meckling, who was a standout down at MSU late 90s, early 2000s as a Red Raider. That's all I got. And they have a nice team bus. All right, AA boys in Butte Civic Center tomorrow. Glacier Skyview are followed by West and Big Sky, and then it'll be Bozeman Butte, Hellgate, and Gallatin. I got to root for my Bozeman teams. I'm a Hawk. Girls AA, it'll be Hellgate, Gallatin, West Sentinel, Skyview, Big Sky, and Flathead against Bozeman. So there you go. There is your high school brackets. And I can't wait to see the State A again. It'll be the 3rd straight year calling the State A for NFHS. The Havre team girls should like me being there. They've won the last 2. I've called the last 2. They've beaten Billings Central in both of those. By the way, speaking of Billings Central, Maya Hansen lighting it up for Boise State. I think she had 20 the other night. No fear as a freshman there. She's good. And got to know her family over the last couple of years. Great family, the Hansen family there. So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. And when we return, the exclusive first interview with the new head basketball coach at the University of Providence, J.C. Isakson, will join us. That's next. This is the Jason Walker Show and the Walk Up, the opening segment, brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, veteran-owned, family-owned, and woman-owned and operated. 15 floor plans, or you can create your own, or you can work with them and get the log home of your dreams. Montana Custom Log Homes at yourcustomlog.com. J.C. Isakson coming up next. Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, It feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Everyone knows about Dinner's Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinner's Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinner's Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Summer, the season to work hard, play hard. The days are heating up and getting longer. The smell of fresh cut grass, the hot sun on your skin. We kidding. We all know you're really thinking about having fun and relaxing at the Copper Club Casino. Meet your friends for a cold one. Play a $5 or $2. When you want great service, cold drinks, and fun entertainment, this is the place. The Copper Club Casino, where everybody knows your name any time of year. On Euclid, across from the Lundy Center, the Copper Club Casino.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. We'll update Big Sky Conference. Got championships tonight down in Boise, men and women. And there's only one Montana team still alive in the Big Sky. 3 or 4 out of Montana in the Frontier. And what is 8 times 4? 32 left in high school. Oh, goodness. It was wacky dress-up day today at my daughter's school. So she's gotten into leg warmers, which is, flashing me back to the 1980s. But she got some new ones. She had rainbow ones, and then she got some new ones from my wife. So they're purple, a set of purple ones and a set of pink ones. And I had the idea, it's wacky dress-up day, to wear like one of each. She's like, no, Dad, that plan doesn't work for me. And basically verbatim. So she goes, follow me. So we go into her bedroom. We get her clothes picked out. She picks out her clothes because it's Wacky Wednesday at school. It's Dr. Seuss week, by the way. So she puts on one purple on her leg, one pink leg warmer, whatever they're called, on her left leg, purple one on the right. Then she does purple on her left arm and pink on her right arm. So it was cool. She was great. It was awesome. I love having little ones. I can't imagine having a 3-year-old with twins on the way and taking a new position. That is what J.C. Isakson is doing at the University of Providence, moving over from the women's side as an assistant to the men's side as the head coach, replacing Steve Keller. And I believe it was Rochelle Sayers who took the Carroll job not long after or right after she had the twin boys. So maybe JC will have to get a hold of her. Joining us now on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline is the new head men's basketball coach, his exclusive first interview right here on the Jason Walker Show. His name is J.C. Isakson.
We have so much to talk about because hold on,
that was yesterday. That's Sioux Hall's band, and that's not JC. Let's start that over, shall we? Man, oh man. I love technology when it works. Or operator error. Okay, now here's JC. In progress. Where we left off. So, I mean, this is a big deal. And I read a couple of the quotes on Facebook, and I think one was from a cousin that said, you know, you've been loving hoops since you basically learned how to walk. So, I mean, this is I wouldn't say a dream job, but it's the step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, and I would say dream job. I love the NAIA level. I played in the Frontier, grew up around it. I mean, this league it's one of the best leagues in the country, player-wise, coach-wise, fantastic coaches in it. But, yeah, I grew up in a basketball family. My grandpa played at the Grizz, all my uncles, my brothers, everybody. I just grew up in a basketball family. Everybody played hoops and had some good players kind of come through the family tree a little bit. So that cousin comment you saw, like, she was a big time basketball player. She follows it religiously. Her dad was hunting buddies with Bobby Knight. She grew up with Bobby Knight coming out to Augusta pheasant hunting and fishing. So she's growing up around the blue blood royalty of college basketball. So, yeah, I just come from a basketball family, and they've been very supportive along the way. And they knew I was kind of, the funny story is I was that kid, like third grade. It was the classic, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be a college basketball coach. And my teacher said, that's great. What are you going to do for a real job? And, you know, there's just a disconnect there a little bit. But Dad coached high school hoops. He coached me growing up, just been around the game. I grew up in a gym.
JC Isakson joining us here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline, the new Providence head men's basketball coach taking over for recently retired Steve Keller. Bobby Knight ate my French fries one time at a celebrity golf tournament down in Bozeman. So
there you go. You probably have the ones left over framed somewhere back there.
No, those are my son's tonsils. But the funny part of that is I didn't know who he was at the time. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. And we're in Manhattan at the Oasis, and it was Jan Stenerud's celebrity golf tournament. So, you know, Lynn Dickey's there and all these great studs from past, you know, athletes. And my dad at the time goes, hey, there's one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. And I'm like, who? Stu Starner? And Stu was walking over with Bobby Knight, and Bobby Knight sat down and ate my French fries. So, the team's audio, I hear it.
Yeah.
So, growing up with it and being a part of it in your family, obviously it's in your blood. But when this opportunity came about, and I know you've known Coach Keller for a long time, how much did you sit and talk to him about it?
Definitely approached him about it. We had a sit down conversation. 45 years of retirement. You don't want to come in and sit down and start talking about trying to take over for him. I mean, he's retiring after 45 years and in the middle of trying to finish out the season and get to the Frontier Conference Championship. So just try to be very mindful of that. We had it really was one conversation, and it was as simple as, I got to go for it, don't I? And he said, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? And, he brought up, this has been what I was going for. So why not give it a chance? And just really we had pretty much one conversation about it of going for it. But then I just wanted to be really mindful of being respectful of his last couple weeks, and then going into the championship, make sure his focus was on going as deep as he could and into the tournament, which he did.
So that's why you were at the games. You were scouting your future team.
Yeah, that's right.
JC Isakson, our guest, Jason Walker Show. What will you do? I mean, obviously, you got to hit the recruiting trail. Last week, you're up recruiting girls at the Eastern AA for Bill Himmelberg, and now you switch gears to different sex.
Yeah, the movement happened kind of over the weekend. I spent, obviously I knew I was in on the job, so I went to Western AA and watched beginning to end, boys and girls. Got a couple eyes on some kids, so was recruiting both essentially at that one, but just kind of watching, waiting to see, and got the news on the drive from Kalispell back to Great Falls. So then the next night at Eastern AA, recruiting boys. So crazy profession. It kind of switches like that, but it's been a whirlwind. I mean, obviously state tournaments are this weekend. We got on the road, did an in-home visit with a recruit yesterday, taking off here this afternoon, go down to Butte, stay the night, hop back and forth between AA and A in Bozeman. Then you got the Senior Classic coming up in Billings the following weekend, the HIT tournament in Havre. So it's going to be bang there, and that's kind of for the immediate. And then the AAU season kind of picks up. AAU is, which I was involved with at time. It's became more prevalent in Montana. These kids are playing it, so they'll start going out in April, playing in Phoenix, playing in Seattle, playing in Boise. So that will be kind of recruiting. Those kids will be 2024s, 2025, so down the road. So, but you got to start building relationships with those kids right now. The days of starting your recruiting at the state tournament or at the Senior Classic afterwards are over. These kids that we're going to go see at the Senior Classic or a state tournament have been talking to other coaches or other programs for some of them up to 2 years by now. So get in when we can. We're going to try to make a splash with some Montana kids through the Montana Hoops thing, and I have some connections with some kids, so just try to revisit that. And right now, for Coach Keller, 9 guys got into that Frontier Conference Championship game, got minutes. Right now, it's looking like 8 of those 9 are coming back. So that's pretty good situation to be in as a first-time head coach. The cupboards are not dry or bare by any means. No. So the first piece, we're on spring break, get those guys in. Try to retain, and then if we add a piece or two to that mix, I mean, I think we can be competitive right away, which is very, very nice to have. But the interesting part is we have a developmental program here, so we have a large roster. We have 30 kids on roster, and during the interview process, I kind of did my homework on a little bit, and I have coached here, recruited here, or coached in Montana Hoops Camp or AAU 15 of the 30 kids we currently have on roster. So there's a familiarity there that should help for a smooth transition. Yeah, definitely. What's going to be the biggest change? I mean, you've done it going from men's to women's and now back to men. Basketball is basketball on that front. I discovered that really, really quickly. Honestly, good basketball is good basketball. On the women's side and what Coach Himmelberg has done here, his teams are in the WBCA top 25 academically every year. I think last year we finished number 13 in the country, had 7 4.0s at the end of the year. That's nice. Yeah. That's nice, and that's what we're going to recruit to and kind of emphasize. And you're here to get an education and something to propel you forward. I want all the guys to play basketball as long as they can. Obviously, we've had some pros come out over the years, but nobody's retiring off of hoops coming out. They need something from the ball stops bouncing, and the academic piece of it is just huge. That was a breath of fresh air, and something we're really going to emphasize, because as coaches, we can coach you better, we can prepare better, we can develop you better, we can fundraise, we can do all this stuff if we're not having to worry about the academic piece of things. So that was probably something that was the biggest eye-opener of and on the women's side, they just having great students, how much easier that made this job. Yeah. And now you don't have to share an office too with Steph McDonough. You get that helps too. That helps. Not having her, listening to every conversation. Yeah. I know you're still going to help her. She's a young coach and up and coming, and does a great job with the women. But now moving from that, and this is the big question coaches always get, first-time coaches, moving from that second chair now to first chair, how do you make that transition? That's funny you bring that up. I was watching the Big Sky semifinals last night, Weber State, Montana State, and both coaches are sitting, the head coach of Sprinkle and the coach for Weber State are sitting in the second chair between two assistants. I said, there we go, problem solved. I'll keep my same chair and put McLean on one side and Shikey on the other, and I'll be comfortable. But no, the classic saying is everything changes when you shift over that 16 inches, right? And you don't know what you don't know. What I feel like is I try to be as self-aware that no, I don't know everything. I'm going to learn more in the first year or 2 years of being a head coach than maybe I did in 10 years of being an assistant. But just going in with wide eyes of knowing I don't know it all, and knowing that I have to have self-awareness that everything changes when you're in that position, and just go with the flow on it. Obviously, from a staff standpoint, we're still finalizing everything, but working with McLean, Coach Mike McLean, to keep him there. Guy's coached 40 years. He's coached high school, college, professional basketball, other sports, won state championships. Can't beat having an individual like that on your side, just talking through the big picture stuff, the head coach things. He's been a mentor over the last 5 years as is, and want to keep him in that sounding board, advisory, talking to me position a little bit, and just know that it's going to be different. And I think one of the commitments I'm going to make to the guys right away is, hey, I'm going to make mistakes in this role, but it won't ever be for lack of effort. I'm going to preach accountability. If I make a mistake, I'm going to own it, see it, and I'm going to fix it for you guys. But let's go through this thing together. But it won't ever be for lack of effort or lack of grit to try to figure it out. So to kind of wrap it all up, I guess just having self-awareness of let the ego go, because there's things you just don't know, and you got to experience it. And if you go in thinking you know all the answers, you're going to get punched in the mouth. But if you go in trying to be a sponge and just learn along the way and know you don't know everything, you're still going to get punched in the mouth, but hopefully you can fight back a little bit.
Hey, I have that feeling every day since August.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Couple final ones for JC Isakson, the new Providence Argo men's basketball coach. Make sure you don't go into the wrong locker room. That's step one. I would think that's a big deal. And now you don't have to grab the chair at timeout. Someone else is going to grab the chair for you now.
So last year I stepped in for Coach Himmelberg a couple times when through the COVID issues and all that, and we played 3 games, and it was like the third quarter of the first game when Steph was like, let me get your chair for you. I'm still grabbing it up and moving it over and setting my own. And by the third game, I think one time I barked at her at a timeout to get the chair. So I made the adjustment quickly, but that goes back to, all joking aside, that goes back to I'm watching how these pros and these big colleges are, I might just put Shikey there. He just has to pick up his chair, set it down. I'll go. I've been an assistant for 10 years, and I'm like, why didn't I ever think of that? Because sometimes you're late getting back there, and the head coach is standing there waiting for you to put down his chair. I'm just like, why wouldn't I just grab my chair, set it out there? So that'll be a nice little adjustment to the piece.
JC Isakson joining us. Explain why do you, it's elk. Why is it Elks in Augusta?
Oh man, heated hot topic there. That's the hot takes of Augusta. So, evidently, Elks actually is acceptable as a plural form of it, even in the New Webster Dictionary. Okay. That was one of the big comebacks. So we always got that question. There was bigger fish to fry, bigger issues when I was growing up, all the way until honestly, I was probably early in high school. The mascot, so of course it's Augusta, so we had a shoulder-mounted taxidermy elk in the gym hanging up. It was actually a cow elk that the taxidermist put antlers on. So that was more controversial than the S on elk or S. So that was more controversial once people started noticing that. Finally, like I said, when I was in high school, somebody shot a big 400 plus bull elk and donated it, so there's actually a bull elk mounted up in there now. But to answer that, elks sounded better, I guess. And then the argument was that it actually can be used as the plural, but the biggest controversy was the cow elk with the antlers on it mounted in the gym. That was, and you imagine a place like Augusta full of hunters. I mean, they couldn't wrap their minds around how we would do that. So
I don't even know how to come back to that. That is fantastic. All right, what's your style going to be?
I'm very relational. Obviously one of the transitions that I got to be aware of is I have very assistant coach relational pieces with this, right? I get after it a little bit. I'm up on the sideline, pretty active with it, but I think I'm less of a yeller, screamer of that nature. A little bit more high energy. And you say all this. I laugh because what I'm going back to is just listening to this podcast the other day, Hardwood Hustle, and they talked about the same exact question, and they're like, coaches need to mic themselves up and put a GoPro facing them sometime and coach a game and then turn around and watch, because a lot of times you're nothing like you seem to be a little bit. But, to be honest with you, with the years under Coach Keller and some of my coaches, I appreciate the demanding, high accountability, high active part of it, but you got to have a relationship with the kids. If you're gonna, one of my favorite sayings is, if you're going to light them up, get into them, you got to love them up. So you got to have a kind of a relationship with that. I'm a big NBA guy. I watch hundreds of NBA games a year, and in person and summer league and everything like that. And you watch those. It's a very, try to take a professional approach to it. Do your work, let them get out there, play, know they're going to make mistakes. You got to pick and choose on that. Is it a mistake because they're playing hard, or is it a mistake because they're doing their own thing? And then always point the finger back at yourself. If same kid's making the same mistake, or your team's making the same mistake over and over, are you working on it in practice, or addressing it in the film room, or doing whatever? So I guess to wrap that all up, a very accountability piece of it. Hold everybody accountable, play with some high energy, but I'm not a big up in your face screamer or yeller. I'll be active. I'll get heated in the game, but I'm not a big screamer or yeller. I'm more of let's get our job done, and everybody has a job to do. Let's be accountable and do that piece.
You got to go to Mexico last year. You only get to go to Phoenix this season, or this coming season. So, and you have to work with me the whole time. But the nice thing will be, I think you can carry your own luggage. I had to keep track of Keller's luggage, basically from Great Falls to Phoenix and back.
Yeah. I'll keep track of my own luggage, because I'm sure we just talked about last night. That might be the first trip for the twins and Blake Lynn and everybody. So I'll be keeping track of my luggage plus other luggage. No, it'll be adjustment. Obviously, nobody in the country travels like the University of Providence women's basketball program. That's for sure. These last 2 years were amazing, and my family got to come on the trips with us. And yeah, that was something special. And we look to it'll be a little bit different. We'll have to raise the money and form some kind of 6-man club type thing. But down the line, we have the full intentions of taking a Hawaii trip at some point. Would love to start planning an international trip of some sort, oriented it with kind of mission work that aligns with the University of Providence. It's going to take some time to get there, but we definitely plan on doing something like that in the future once we get our feet under us a little bit, because the Frontier Conference is amazing, but you have to go get those non-conference games, and we do a good job of it. But I think it's a great recruiting piece if we can build. I know those 2 years on the women's side, when you're recruiting and you're explaining to them that over the course of 4 years they'll probably get an international trip, they'll get a Hawaii trip, stuff. It makes a big piece, and it goes back to, we want basketball in our program to be a vehicle to develop young men, and traveling and getting out and experiencing new places is a great way to grow as a person. So in due time, we want to make that part of our program as well too, where we can say, we're getting out and traveling and playing and seeing some pretty cool places.
You mean you don't want to go to Lewiston, Idaho every year?
Yeah. Hey, there's less. Well, there's always less snow. There's always less snow there. Yeah, no, that's great. We would love to go to LC here and there, but we would also like to go play on in Hawaii and go play in Tennessee, and then maybe take a international trip down to Costa Rica or something of that nature. So that's all in the big picture of things. What we would like to get to that level where we can deliver those experiences.
Well, an SID has to go on those trips, and then our little ones can get to know each other very well.
That's right.
You've got the cutest little one outside of mine.
That's right.
You mentioned all these places to go travel and play. There's one place you failed to mention that would be iconic, and that would be Kansas City, because that means you're in the national tournament every year.
Absolutely. I mean, that's always the goal, right? That's what we're building for, and no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, dialing that back a little bit, this year was kind of, I would say, a little bit of an anomaly with how crazy the Frontier Conference was on the men's side. But if you're competing for a conference championship, either regular season or tournament in the Frontier Conference, you're in or right there at getting into that national tournament. And that's obviously the goal, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it, is to get into that tournament and get to Kansas City. I've been fortunate enough. I've been there 5 times as a player and a coach. And what a cool experience. There's nothing like it. Kansas City's a great city. It's you're there in the middle of March Madness. There's just a basketball feel to it. Great barbecue.
There is that.
Sauce to eat, right? Just a great experience. The goal will be, you got to get the guys got to get a taste of that. Yep. That's what Coach always talked about when we were building it at Western, is you got it when you have a new roster and you're doing this, you got to give those guys a taste of it, because once they experience it, man, they're going to run through a wall the next year to get back to it. But I mean, we play in one of the best, if not the best, Frontier or NAI conference in the country, and the level of coaching we have in this league is unbelievable. I mean, there are guys here that are Hall of Fame, unbelievable coaches. So it'll be a battle every single night. But to your point, Kansas City's the goal. National tournament's the goal. That's the big picture. It should be for every program in the country. But if you break that down step by step, it starts by being competitive in the Frontier Conference. If you're competitive in the Frontier Conference, you have a chance to get there. And then you keep dialing that back, right? Process-oriented. You keep dialing that back to, well, if you want to be competitive in the Frontier Conference, you got to be going to class. You got to be doing the right things. You got to be working. You got to be in the weight room. You got to be on time. You got to be practicing hard, because every piece builds on each other to – You can't put that at the end goal without knowing piece by piece what it takes to get there.
Family's good with this? Little one's excited?
Yeah. My wife's obviously man, couldn't do this without her. Yeah. She looked at me with the, "Are you serious?" when I brought up the idea for about 5 seconds, and then said, "All right, let's do it." We have a little family model. We call it FIFO, a little acronym, FIFO, figure it. You can guess the rest out. So, figure it the F out is our little family model. And we're kind of jumping into this, as we'll be talking like, hey, we got, as you know what you're into, we got twins coming on the way. We have a 3-year-old. We'll be talking about how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that. And we'll just look at each other and say FIFO, figure it out, with a little extra letter in there, figure it out. But it would be impossible without her, obviously. And she's been along the whole journey. We came here in 2018 and we were just dating. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment right across the street. And since we've been here, we got married, had our daughter Blakelyn, have twins on the way, went through a pandemic, got out of coaching for a year, switched over to the women's side, and all that's happened in this spell right here. So we're rolling with it. This is home. Going back to your comment on dream job, I mean, I don't have any climb the ladder aspirations. I played NAIA. I love this league. I'll spend the rest of my life in Montana. So this checks every box. My parents live in Choteau. I get to coach a high level of basketball at a great institution. I get to live in Montana. I get to raise my family at a place that feels safe. My little kids are going to experience the places that I experienced growing up, getting out to Augusta and doing things like that. So this checks every single box. So it's going to take a juggle a little bit, but we'll FIFO.
There you go. Hey, I'm going to start using that. In maybe your first game, we'll throw that out there in the article. That's if I'm still there. Okay, I think we nailed dang near everything. It's just ironic that 5 years ago, Western and Providence were looking for men's basketball coaches, and here we are again. Now Providence has theirs. Mike Larson stepping down. Great guy, great coach. But, it'll be you got to keep the little one up later now because your games are going to be later.
Yeah, I think Blakelyn came, you saw her, she was up at the gym all the time. She came to practice all the time. She came on road trips. She was around it. She's the interesting part will be her understanding that dad's team is the boys' team now. Steph's here. We have a great relationship. Blakelyn loves her. She loves Coach Himmelberg. I honestly see, she'll be in that gym for practice. She'll be at the girls' game. She loves the girls. She loves Maddie Dixon, talks about her at home, talks about the Argos at home. So I'm sure she'll kind of make an adjustment and figure it out, but I'm sure she won't be a stranger to the women's basketball program. I'm moving 2 doors down. I might be dropping her off with Steph. I bet when she comes up to the office here, I bet she stops at Steph's office and doesn't go down to Dad's and hangs out with Aunt Steph.
Well, Steph's a little bit cooler. I'm just going to say it. I mean,
Steph takes her to the locker room to the treat bin that's in there, and Blakelyn knows that. So she's here. She knows Steph is the plug for all the goodies in the locker room.
Well, I know based off the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter comments, everybody's really, really happy for you, really excited for this hire. And I know you got a busy day with press and all of that, but we appreciate you taking the time. Looking forward to working with you closely, even more closely now. So congratulations, and we'll see you in the office next week.
Thanks, Walker. Appreciate everything you do for us here.
JC Isakson joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. It's your home, it's your auto, it's your life. Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller, State Farm in Helena. Good dude, good hire. Can't wait to work with him. J.C. Isakson. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and update you on the Big Sky Conference Tournament and more here on the Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Summer, the season to work hard, play hard. The days are heating up and getting longer. The smell of fresh cut grass, the hot sun on your skin. We kidding. We all know you're really thinking about having fun and relaxing at the Copper Club Casino. Meet your friends for a cold one. Play a $5 or $2. When you want great service, cold drinks, and fun entertainment, this is the place. The Copper Club Casino, where everybody knows your name any time of year. On Euclid across from the Lundy Center, the Copper Club Casino.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Final segment on a Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be at the Class A State Tournament, live from the Brick Breeden Field House. Looking forward to a couple of days down in Bozeman and calling the State A boys on the NFHS network. Get a chance to tune in. It'll be fun. Let's see here. Big Sky Conference basketball tournament. We'll hit on here in a second. Did want to bring this up. Don Wetzel Sr., the first Montana Native American to graduate from an NCAA Division I school and co-founder of the Montana Indian Athletic Hall of Fame, died in Helena. He was 74. Grew up in Seville Flats on the Blackfeet Reservation. Coached multiple state champs in basketball and cross country at Browning. And passed away yesterday, had an infection, and a legend, an absolute legend. Described himself as an old warrior and just an absolute true legend in not only Montana Native American lore, but also Montana lore as well. So condolences to the Wetzel family, for sure. Montana Grizzlies knocked out of the tournament last night by Northern Arizona. And that final score, let's see, 83-71. There we go. Gave up 51 points in the second half. NAU on a roll right now. Cinderella in the Big Sky. 9 seed entering the tournament, won its first round game, then knocked off the 1 seed Eastern Washington, and then knocked off the Grizz. And so they're heading to the Big Sky Conference Championship, which will be tonight at 9:30 on ESPN 2. And that Big Sky Championship will feature Northern Arizona against Montana State. Bobcats in the championship of the tournament for the 3rd straight year. The 5 seed. The 2 seed. Sorry. Anyway, they won 60-58 in double overtime against Weber. And it was absolutely nuts, the ending. Cats forced a shot clock violation with 13 seconds left. Darius Brown II found Raekwon Battle, and Battle dunked it home with just about a second to go. Came in flying from the wing, the alley-oop, and the Bobcats win. I don't know which. Is it this video? Let's see here. Not sure which video it is. I think it's this one. So we'll pause it. We'll rewind it. And we'll show it. How does that sound? So this is the game winner for Montana State last night in Boise. Oh, it won't play? Are you kidding me? It won't show? Oh, goodness great. Anyway, the Bobcats won. So Bobcats NAU on the women's side tonight. Or on the men's side tonight. On the women's side, it is going to be the championship at 6:30, right? Yeah. Or rather, 3 p.m. on ESPN 2 or Plus, one of them. Anyway, it'll be NAU against Sac State on the women's side. So there you go. I think that's about it. What else did we want to hit on? Let me go to the script. Oh, let's do On This Day in History. We didn't do On This Day in History yesterday. How could you let me forget? Anyway, today is Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. It is Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. It is Peanut Cluster Day. And it is also International Women's Day. So I salute all the women in my life. My mom, my grandmas, my aunts, my daughter, both of them. And, of course, my wife. So salute to you on International Women's Day on this International Women's Month. 1930, Babe Ruth signed a 2-year contract for $160,000 with the Yankees. The GM at the time would predict that no one will ever be paid more than Ruth. He was wrong. 1936, the first stock car race held in Daytona Beach, Florida. And NASCAR was founded. Do you know race car spelled backwards is race car? 1971, Joe Frazier knocked Muhammad Ali off the perch, 31-fight win streak, and wins the heavyweight boxing title in the fight of the century. 1939, happy birthday, Jim Bouton was born. The author of Ball 4 passed away a couple years ago. Great book. If you have not read Ball 4, you need to. I got my copy for 25 cents at the library in Yankton, South Dakota in 1992, 93, 92. And I still have it. And it's right back here behind me, off to my right. Great book. Ball 4. Ray Nitschke died on this date in 1998. Joe DiMaggio passed away on this date in 1999. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Walk-off brought to you by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. Stop in for the best Cajun this side of New Orleans. I might head there for lunch right after this. I might do that before I head off to Bozeman for the State A basketball tournament. Probably going to see J.C. Isakson there, as he's out scouting now, the new head coach of the Providence men. Thank him for taking time out today for joining us. He'll do well. Good coach. Good guy. Looking forward to working with him. So tomorrow, we'll be at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse in Bozeman. Games start at 9 a.m. on the NFHS network. On the girls' side, 9 and 10:30, and then the boys at noon and 1:30. And we'll do the show while the girls play, and then we'll be back on the air at NFHS for the boys' games tomorrow night. Take you through all the way to Saturday night's championship game, which the boys tip off at 8:30 Saturday night. So we'll see you in Bozeman. Stop by, say hi at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. Good luck to everybody competing in state tournaments that got underway today in the State C girls, and we'll do it again tomorrow. If you missed anything, as always, JasonWalkerShow.com. See you tomorrow from Bozeman.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.